really like how that turned out. Oh, I know it would make the... Do I have the nerve to do it? If I did some edging, if I edge highlighted along these scales on the chest, that would really pop. I have to think about that one. I got a bunch of black I need to touch up now that I've really gone crazy on the wings. But that's what I need to work myself up to. That's what I need to convince myself to do. Take a light, maybe even like a, yeah. That would really make that pop. Because I don't think on the yellow, I don't think dry brushing is really gonna matter. I think it's gotta be in some kind of edging there. But I'm gonna touch up the black first, because that's safe. I'm not scared of doing that. And at some point I need to turn my attention to the base, because I can start piecing this thing together, which might make it easier to work with because I'll have a base to hold on to. I officially had the and I'm gonna totally flub it because I don't remember I mean, TikTok usernames are really hard anyway, because the names that I read, the names that you read, and even like in some places within TikTok app, like it switches whether it displays like their username or like the person's like display name or something, or like whether they kind of have a different name than I don't know. So I don't even really know, but probably one of the most entertaining or interesting follows I've had so far on TikTok, and I didn't even know. I wouldn't have even known how to find this person. But have you ever seen that video? Have you guys ever seen that video of I think it's what would it be called? It'd be a duet. And on the left side of the screen is a woman, in this case being the DM of the story, quickly losing her mind as her players fail to solve an obvious puzzle, or fail to kind of put the pieces together. And on the right side of the screen is a guy using one of those like shape puzzles where you kind of put the shapes in the things, and it's like, oh geez, where do I put the circle? It's like, that goes in the square hole. They all can fit in the square hole. Like, that's like the joke. It was like I feel like we've probably all seen it at some point. I definitely remember seeing it long before I was ever on TikTok. Like, I feel like it's been a couple of years since I've seen that thing. I've referenced it a ton. It's hilarious. Maybe it's not been years, like a couple of years, but it feels like a while. But anyway, that guy, his name's Brock. That guy who made the original like square hole video followed me today, and that was delightful. I was like, no shit, square hole guy, awesome. Well, there you go. He's getting around. Well, what'd you say? A square hole interview. I mean, this is. I think he's got a podcast. Nice. Yeah, I mean, why not, right? So what are you making a digital or drawn map of the, or are you like grabbing the foam, grabbing the cardboard and making a keep? Awesome. Not to put more ideas on your plate, 'cause I'm sure you have a ton, but that would be an awesome opportunity for using something like a UV pen, or I guess you can make invisible ink to like make a section of it that is only found that way. I guess that would only be possible if you hand drew it. Digitally, I mean, sure, there's some clever way to do it, but I've never tried. Why not, indeed? I did a so when I was handing out those puzzle props, the Rogue, theirs, along with the Cryptex, because that was the most like puzzle-y piece of it. That's kind of what clued them in that like there was something to solve. They just hadn't figured out what there was to solve yet. Along with that, because I thought just getting a Cryptex wouldn't be that much fun, I drew out some maps on like kind of scrolly, like parchment-y type paper, like maps of locations that they haven't ever even heard of. Like this is like some rogues' old maps. So some mapped out areas. Like one was like a thieves guild, another one was like a temple. But one of them was actually the place that they were investigating, And unfortunately, they long left that place before they realized that there was anything hidden on anything with UV light, and so they missed the hidden room, and they never went back. And who knows if they ever will at this point? But if they had, the one hidden room that was marked on the map had a chest under the floor, or a chest hidden in the room with I don't know. I think I figured it was going to be somewhere in the realm of 200,000 or 300,000 gold, like a ridiculous amount, probably a game-changing amount. And I feel like that's a fair. Trade-off. If it's okay, here's something hidden that I'm not going to tell them about, and they only can find if they really go above and beyond. But if they go above and beyond, they're going to feel like the masters of the universe. They're going to feel like the, but we'll see. They never did. They never did go back. Or it could even be, if there's no room for hidden passages and stuff, it could even be symbols indicating almost whatever the equivalent is of X marks the spot, or dig here. Which that would sort of require putting a what do you call it? The map would have to have kind of an in-world author for that to make sense. It'd have to be sort of a found item in that sense, which may or may not work with your vision for it, but yeah, just an idea. As you can tell, I like doing a bunch of work, figuring stuff out, planting things in the world that the players are very likely to never find, and then just hoping that somehow they do. Yeah, that's a cool idea. You've got to stay true to your map. You can't sacrifice the fidelity. It's funny, I wouldn't have even thought of it. Yeah, you're right, windows do get in the way. Probably of a lot of things. Did you ever have you ever seen The Shining? Or I guess I should say, are you aware of The Shining before I reference what I'm about to... Yeah, fair enough. So something that was discovered long after the movie came out is that there are a bunch of these spatial anomalies in the movie. And there are some videos on YouTube that do a great job of detailing this. I think it actually came out, it was discovered when somebody wanted to make a Doom, an old Doom map based on the hotel in The Shining. And so he watched the movie and took notes and started to make a deathmatch map. And he realized very quickly that it was impossible because the geometry depicted in the movie was impossible. That upon him, this guy, this map maker, really scrutinizing it, it was impossible to construct the hallways and the windows and everything to be real. And it was only some time after that, like a number of years, that somebody was given access to the Kubrick archives and found out that all of that was intentional. That, like, the idea was to create a subliminally uneasy sense of space by effectively making, you know, so like you go down a hallway, or you turn a corner, and the hallway has a bunch of rooms, even though like the wall's not thick enough to have those rooms. It's never called out in the movie. Nobody ever even seems to recognize that something weird is happening on, but the idea is that you would feel it somehow. Now, I'm sure that, you know, nobody's players are perceptive enough on a map to go like, hey, that wouldn't work, but man, that'd be a cool way to drop in a little hidden place, or an Easter egg. Is like, hey, this part of the map doesn't make any sense. It doesn't fit. You know, this floor, there's too much on this floor. There's not enough on this floor. Like, look, this whole piece here is missing or something. That'd be crazy subtle, but very interesting.